Hello guys, my name is Slippery Jack, and today I am going to be doing a presentation of my CD collection. Don't worry. Of course, I'm going to be showing my vinyl off too when I have the chance. But first, I'm going to be doing the CDs because I feel like that's what's more. Well, like I noticed that it seems to be a little more popular with modern audiences, even though vinyl has started to make a comeback. And no, I will not be doing a cassette collection. I have a lot of cassettes, but I don't really think it's that uh, anything worth showing off. So, um, about my collection, I don't buy CDs very often that I don't actually like. If I buy it, and I don't like it, it's just because I'm trying to complete my collection of another artist, but like I don't have any of those in here, and I'm just gonna put all my CDs on the floor, and then I'll just talk about them. I'm not gonna go into depth or anything. I'm just gonna explain the artist or like the style of it, and then show you the front cover and the back cover, and yeah, that'll be it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so right here I have my Aphex Twin CDs. So in case you don't know who he is a pioneer of IDM music. If you like electronic music, then you have to know who Aphex Twin is. If you don't, then you really need to go listen to him because he is highly influential. So right here I've got Selected Ambient Works Volume 2. I Care Because You Do, and Drux. I'll flip these over, show you the back side. And moving on from there, I've got Rest Proof Clockwork by Plaid, another great IDM group. So they're sort of like Aphex Twin, but they kind of built on the genre. They have like some new age influence. This is unfortunately this is the only one I could find at my local record store. I'd love to get like Not for Threes or Double Figure. Fortunately, there's a sticker on the front that I couldn't get off. So here is what it's supposed to look like. So definitely check this one out. It is worth your time. It took some listens for me to understand it because it's a little more complicated, but still very good. And over here, I have my Boards of Canada collection. So in case you didn't know, Boards of Canada is my next discography review. I haven't started yet, but I'm currently working on a video. Get that out. So right here I've got Music Has the Right to Children. This is probably my favorite. Geo Gotti, The Campfire Head Phase, and Tomorrow's Harvest. Let me flip these over. So all three of these are great albums. I really don't have a favorite. I like them all. It depends on my mood which one I like the most. But yeah, Music Has the Right to Children is amazing. Yeah, it's a lot of people consider Boards of Canada to be IDM. I'm not sure if you could call them IDM. They've got those IDM style beats, but it's a lot more atmospheric, and I tend to put them in their own little category. So up next, I'm going to get some more CDs down here. Right here, I have my CDs from The Orb. So The Orb are like a ambient dub group, or like their lineup has been kind of weird. Like I think each album it changes a little bit. Um, so these three are definitely some of their finest albums. There are a couple of other ones I'd love to get my hands on. Um, Definitely the Orb's Adventures Beyond the Ultra World, but like um, right here we've got UF Orb, Orbis Terrarum. This is my favorite. Oblivion, and Live 93. So here's the back cover, and in case you're wondering, if you think this one looks familiar, it's because it was influenced by the cover of Pink Floyd's Animals, which has a pig flying over the power station, but instead on this one it's a sheep. Yeah, a lot of the Orb stuff is heavily influenced by Pink Floyd, so if you like Pink Floyd, definitely give the Orb a shot. And I also have a CD right here of the KLF's White Room. So yeah, a lot of you younger people are probably not familiar with the KLF. They became quite popular in the early 90s. They had like this EDM kind of thing going on. Well, it was like this EDM hip hop, and it was a lot of fun to listen to. And yeah, I wouldn't say that this is as good as the Orb, but if you're looking for like some fun EDM music, definitely go check this out. Like after the KLF broke up, they wanted to pretty much just dispose of everything, like erase their name from the history of music. And I'm still really surprised I got this. It was only like a dollar, so I'm really surprised. I'm glad I have it. And moving on, transition. Speaking of the Orb, right here I have Orbital. This is Orbital we're a 90s techno EDM kind of group. I don't know what you call them. Like it's they started out as a pretty popular rave group, but after raves were banned in England, they went into the more atmospheric stuff. I do not own any of their rave stuff, unfortunately. Right here I've got Civilization, Insides, The Middle of Nowhere, and a single of The Saint. These are all good albums. My favorite is probably Insides. These are the backs. And for The Middle of Nowhere, there's nothing on the back, and if you look closely right here, you can see that has the names of the songs. Come on, focus. Right there. So, anyway, these out of the way, and right here, I have Daft Punk. It's supposed to be like this. So right here I have Discovery and Random Access Memories. Back in the 90s, like, of course, Daft Punk was quite popular, but, like, with Random Access Memories, that was, like, radio-friendly pop material. Like, who hasn't heard Get Lucky by now? But yeah, this is, I prefer the accessible side of Daft Punk. These are their best albums. Homework and Human After All, I think they were alright, but Discovery, this is definitely their best. Really great album all the way through. Also love Random Access Memories. These are great albums. Go check them out. And right here, I have BT. So BT is like a trance kind of artist, or at least EMA and ESCM, these are trance. This is not trance though. This Binary Universe is more like ambient glitch IDM. Really cool album. For some reason, the weird thing about my copy of this Binary Universe is I've never seen a CD copy like this until I bought this one. Usually it has like, it's covered by white and you can't see the whole robot unless it's on the MP3 version. I'll put up the cover right now. And yeah, emo is a lot more, is like this new age kind of trance stuff. Really cool. And ESEM is, I think it's like to me it's an improved version of emo, a little less new age. But, not really sure how you describe this one. Unfortunately, I got the American edition. If you look on the back, it's got Lullaby for Gaia rather than, what is it called? Whatever that other track is called. But that was my favorite from the album, and they removed it, so yeah, unfortunately, I gotta live with it, so I'll have to maybe get myself another copy. And right here, I have Air. I did 2 reviews for Air. Unfortunately, I need to review the rest of their stuff someday. I didn't talk about this one over here, Talkie-Walkie, but I did review Moon Safari and 10,000 Hertz Legend. So if you don't know who Air is, they're like an French electro-pop duo. Really good stuff. Highly recommend checking them out. And transition. And right here I have the Prodigy. I recently got done with a series on the Prodigy where I reviewed pretty much all their albums. And right here I've got The Fat of the Land and Invaders Must Die. And unfortunately with Invaders Must Die, it's not the actual album. I just saw it at my local record store and I was excited that it was there because, you know, you never hear anyone talking about this album, so I just grabbed it, and as it turns out, the CD wasn't there. It just had a DVD of the music video for Omen. So I guess that's cool, but I really wish I had the whole album. Anyway, at least I do have The Fat of the Land here, which is also a great album. I will get my hands on the real Invaders Must Die, though. And up here, I have just a bunch of random stuff, mainly like the chill out kind of electronica, if that's what you want to call it. So right here, I've got Massive Attack's Mezzanine. I've got this Relax Reflections of Nature CDs. Jean-Michel Jarre's Oxygen. Biosphere's Substrata. And Sounds from the Ground's Kin. So this Relax CD, I actually got that when I was probably like 8 years old. And I have not listened to it since. From what I remember, it was a pretty good album. So yeah, I'll have to listen to it again and see how it stands up. And I'm sure you know who, like, the Massive Attack and Jean-Michel Jarre. These two are a little more obscure. Like, Biosphere is an ambient artist, so like, but sometimes it's more like ambient techno. This, though, is straight ambient. This is definitely his best work. Biosphere is one of my favorite ambient artists, so definitely go check him out. And Sounds from the Ground, I mentioned them in my last video. I've mentioned them quite a lot in my videos. But they're an ambient dub chill out kind of stuff, sort of like the Orb, but a little less spacey and more about more concentrated on the chill out stuff. Highly underrated group. And over here, I have a bunch of EDM albums. I've got In Silico and Immersion, both by Pendulum. And I've got Since I Left You by the Avalanches, Robert Miles' Dreamland, and Wide Angle by Hybrid. Well, this is Wider Angle. It's a special edition. and it comes with a second disc. Yes, unfortunately, I got the one with the crazy face. I know, it looks horrible, but I'm okay with it because this is still a really great album. It also comes out of the sleeve like this. So that way it looks a lot more pretty. And here's Robert Miles' Dreamland. Flip all these over for you. Yeah, these are all good albums. Transition. Right here I have my CDs by Brian Eno. Brian Eno is another great ambient artist, even though his first couple of LPs were more on the art pop side of things. But then he went into ambient, and I think these are my favorites, along with like Plateau of Mirror. Yeah, right here we have Music for Airports, Ambient 1 Music for Airports, Ambient 4 on Land, and Apollo Atmospheres and Soundtracks. So Brian Eno is definitely another one of my favorite ambient artists. Definitely go check him out if you're new to ambient. Over here, it's kind of an unusual thing. So I have Roger Waters, Amused to Death, and David Gilmour, Rattle That Lock Deluxe Edition. So these are, both Roger Waters and David Gilmour were originally in Pink Floyd. And these are just two of their solo albums. Both of these are actually really good. I'm going to open up the deluxe edition, show you some of it. So it comes with a Blu-ray, which shows like the making of the album, along with an actual copy of it. And here is the real CD. And there's a, forget what's in here, it's a card. Got a pick. And I got a poster, forgot that was in there. And it's got a lyric book, along with a bunch of pictures. And it's also got a copy of Paradise Lost by John Milton, Book 2. A lot of the lyrics on this album were influenced by Paradise Lost. Yeah, this is I spent quite a lot of money on this album, but I think it was worth the price. I think the deluxe edition is really cool. Forgot that I had the poster in there. I'll have to hang that up. And I forget, is there any... Yeah, there's some... got the lyrics for Amused to Death as well. My preference is Rattle That Lock. I feel like David Gilmour puts a lot more effort into the musicality of things, while Roger Waters concentrates more on the lyrics. But this is still great musically. Both of these, definitely check them out. And over here I have some random pile of alternative rock, if that's what you call this. I don't know, it's hard to keep up on genres. Uh-oh. Go on. Flip over. Flip over. Oh no, I don't know if this is recording right. So, right here I have, Whatever People Say I Am, That's What I'm Not, and AM by the Arctic Monkeys. I have, Stepping Off the Spaceship by the Parlor Snakes, the Green Album by Weezer, and In Rainbows by Radiohead. I'm sure we should all know who the Arctic Monkeys are. A great indie rock band. Power Snakes, they're pretty obscure. Actually, this is my dad's band. He just gave me this CD of his most recent album, Stepping Off the Spaceship. It's like this 70s glam rock kind of stuff. Lots of David Bowie influence. Definitely worth checking out. And the Weezer is like this power pop, emo kind of stuff. Some more, yeah. I was actually playing so a lot of Weezer songs with my band, so that's why I picked it up. This is still a great album, like just to listen to out of context. And In Rainbows, this is definitely the happiest Radiohead album. Like Radiohead is known for being quite dark and dystopian. Not really much of that here. It's mostly just made to comfort you. So this is all really great stuff. Transition. Here we have Blur. Blur is a Britpop group from the 90s. These three are probably my favorite albums. I'd love to get my hands on more of them because they've got a lot of other great albums. Blur is probably my personal favorite Britpop group, along with, they just have a lot of competition with Oasis. But yeah, I've got Modern Life is Rubbish, Park Life, and just the self-titled. And up here, I've got Muse. Unfortunately, I just have 2 CDs. I've got Absolution and Simulation Theory. So Absolution is definitely my favorite. Not very uncommon. This is a favorite for most people. And Simulation Theory, that only came out like about a year ago. And yeah, that one is, of course, like just like the other couple of albums that they've released this decade, nobody's going to like this one until like 5 years from now. Yeah, most of the Muse fans I know of don't really like this one, but it's actually a great album. A lot more of the 80s retro futuristic kind of stuff. Definitely worth checking out. I loved it from start to finish. And it's time to wrap this up. Over here, I have my progressive rock, progressive metal, art rock CDs. So right here, I've got Close to the Edge by Yes, Anno Domini High Definition by Riverside, Lateralis by Tool, Lonerism by Tame Impala, Raven That Refused to Sing and Other Stories by Steven Wilson, and Black Water Park by Opeth. So, lately I've been a lot more into the progressive metal kind of stuff. So these albums have been, most of these albums have been on heavy rotation lately. So yeah, you flip these over for you. Yeah, funny thing is, it doesn't really, name of the album isn't on the cover. Wish it was, but yeah, I'm sure a lot of you don't really know who Riverside is. They are progressive metal, progressive rock. This album is definitely progressive metal, and it's probably my favorite, but I wouldn't recommend it for starters. I would say something like Second Life Syndrome would probably be the best to start with, but it might be my favorite, but it's really not like their usual sound. I always forget that I'm listening to Riverside. But yeah, Anno Domini High Definition is awesome, and get this flipped over. And Lateralis by Tool. This is a cool one. It's really helped me get into progressive metal. Tool's Tool's Pure Inoculum was on my list on number 2 for the best albums of 2019, but I have to admit that Lateralis is definitely Tool's best work. Got like some cool stuff on the back here. The cover on this one, it's actually looks really cool, as well as the CD. But yeah, if you're looking to get into progressive metal, perhaps Lateralis is one of the best, like, stripped down versions of progressive metal you can find. But at the same time, it really delivers something very unique. And Lonerism by Tame Impala. We should all know who Tame Impala is. I reviewed all their albums. A great modern psych band, but in the vein of like the 1960s psych era. And Steven Wilson's The Raven That Refused... Oh, forgot to flip this over and show you. Yeah, Steven Wilson's Raven That Refused to Sing has some stuff in it. And this looks a lot like what you might find on an old vinyl record. Yeah, and it's got a lyric booklet in here, even though you can't see that. Here it is. And it's more of the progressive rock stuff, modern prog. So think like the Riverside and the Tool, but a little more mellow. He was originally in a group called Porcupine Tree, and they were definitely progressive metal. He kind of took the metal part out of that. And right here, I've got Opeth's Blackwater Park. This is my most recent addition to the collection. This is definitely the heaviest album that I have in my collection. It doesn't sound like something I'd like, but Opeth's Cult of Venom was on my year-end list at number 1. And I admitted that I still would rather listen to Blackwater Park. Blackwater Park is definitely the Opeth album. It's what got me into them. And this is also the Legacy Edition. So right here I've got the disc, the CD. It's got a lyric booklet. Or it's not a booklet, the whole album is a book. Whole album cover. The boxing. And here I have a DVD of the making of it. This is one of the reasons why I bought the Legacy Edition, because I heard there was an interesting story behind the making of Blackwater Park. And also, Steven Wilson was brought in to produce this album. He played a lot of some of the classical guitar on here. And he does backup vocals on Bleak and Harvest. And I don't know what else he does, but his production really brought this album to life. It's one of my favorite progressive metal albums, so definitely give this a shot. So thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe for more entertainment. Tell me what you would like to see me review or anything else you think I should do. I loved showing you my CD collection. I will be doing a vinyl collection later on. And yeah, I'll have one of these coming like next year, just to show off the CDs that I bought in 2020. So, thanks very much for watching. That's all for today, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.